I don't know for sure. It would seem that maybe, like I don't rule it out, especially from what I hear and how similar some of my experiences have been compared to other people's. And I wouldn't doubt it. I don't have the confirmation of that. But yeah, it doesn't freak me out one way or another, to be honest with you. It's kind of like, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, especially just from what I've seen too with, actually I had a really interesting experience a couple of months ago where I kind of woke up and saw this etheric sort of entity floating in front of me, working on me or something, and I don't know what it was doing because I can only work up so much. And I was like, and it kind of stopped. Like, it was like, uh-oh, am I in trouble? And I'm just kind of like, I remember it wasn't worried about me or something, but then, but what was interesting is, like, I remember hearing this voice, too, that said something about snap to the lines. I have no idea what that means. But then I was like, okay, I'll go back to sleep because this thing looks like it's very frightened. So,
Okay. Well, have you ever done any, like, other off-world excursions from, during the astral projection?
Off-world excursions? None that I can remember right now. I tend to stay at
How about, have you seen any other astral projectors, for lack of a better term?
Yeah.
I mean, you see other people doing it?
Oh, yeah, I've met other I think they're called aneronauts, I think is the term that it's coined for the people who are able to interact on this in the astral plane, if you will.
Plane?
And,
okay.
And yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's really cool, actually. It's one of the, like I said, it's hyper real. So it's like having this hyper real social interaction episode, essentially. And it could be anything as long as you kind of you collectively keep a focus. That's the whole other subject that I can go off on too, because the more consciousness you have around you, the more stable the scene comes. It's almost like together we can create a stable scene there, association. So that's why I say it's like powerful stuff like hotels and famous landmarks and things like that. It's probably another reason why a lot of people have a lot of success going to those, because there's just so much consciousness and energy kind of hanging on these places.
So what do these other people look like when you're on the astral plane?
They generally just look like them. This is the way I see them. Like, you can project anything, but usually if you have a certain level of consciousness, you can kind of tell. Like, it doesn't look quite right. Someone's projecting something else, and you can use the eyes and look into them. The reason why I say that is because if we give in to fear there, just look into the eyes and you'll see who's talking to you, and you can, So, but yeah, they'll look like just near you, or basically your true form. That was one thing. Like I've met people before. I've talked to them, and I'd asked them, like, especially even online. I was like, hey, do you look like this by chance? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I met you before I met you. That's kind of neat. And I have a group of friends that we've been noticing this. Actually, we met synchronistically online, and we've been having these experiences and of meeting people before I meet them, or just various dream experiences, and we've actually been trying to sync up to kind of create a shared dream to kind of just do it, and but it's just attaining a certain level of lucidity to kind of do the shared thing is very difficult, or it's spontaneous. So.
Okay. There's a question in the chat room. How does this compare with an out-of-body experience? Grant, you're into that sort of thing. The out-of-body experience is really connected with near-death experiences, aren't they, or some sort of a trauma? Or what do you think?
Some people have had them without being in a near-death state. The ones that I find most interesting, of course, as you well know, are the ones that are associated with near-death conditions. And I'm sure our audience knows, and perhaps even Jerry, you're familiar with this. There's a lot of new research that's going on right now, right here in the United States, I believe, where what the experiments that they've done, this will probably resonate with you, Jerry, is that in some emergency rooms, one of the things that they've decided to do is put like scrolling marquees on the ceiling in areas where only a person could see from a certain vantage point, and they would have to be actually out of their body to see it. So as far as I know, those experiments have not yielded much in the way of anybody, bringing back information about car keys. But who knows? The research is relatively new at this point. So does that have any bearing on some of the experiences you've had, Jerry?
Actually, yeah. And the only reason why I even kind of consider some of the stuff out of body experience is because I've had a real time out of body experience, which was very strange. And because, like I said, I do have a high level of lucidity, and basically it was so two of my friends were disagreeing, or have an argument, and I knew they were going to argue. You know what I mean? So even in my dream state, I started seeing this dream version, and I'm like, I don't want to see this, and I kind of tried to move it aside. It was like, no, you're going to see it. And then what essentially happened is my consciousness essentially just kind of enters the room through this point of light, and I'm seeing and hearing everything they're saying. I'm seeing where they're standing and all this other stuff, and they weren't standing in their usual spots and then all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't want to see this, so I'm going to wake up. So I woke up, and they're at my house. I was just taking a nap. They're helping me do some housework. And I walk outside, and, sure enough, they're in the same spots, talking about exactly what I've seen. And I'm just like, either no matter what, because I immediately said I knew this was going to happen. A lot of dreams and stuff, but it was a very, very, very accurate guess to put them exactly where they were and doing, things like that. I'm like, wow, that's,
Are you familiar with Are you familiar with hyperspace, or the difference between the astral plane and hyperspace?
It depends. I'm not sure if you're talking about hyperspace, but I know that there's definitely different dimensions and levels. Yeah, so astral planes.
Okay, that's one of our After Dark radios mentioning that in the chat room. Astral plane is that area between physical and hyperspace. Hyperspace is pure mind and pure energy. So I didn't know if you had any on that. So if somebody wanted to, what would you recommend? If somebody wanted to really get into this or try doing it, any do's and don'ts?
Oh, yeah. First thing, number one, no matter how advanced of a dreamer you are, and if you don't have a journal, get one. You have to have a journal. And don't wait to write anything down. Even if you really have to go to the bathroom or something, write it down first or take it with you, because these memories will fade really fast. Even the most vivid ones, sometimes you'll wake up and you'll be like, I know I just dreamt the most vivid, cool thing in the world, but I cannot remember it. So it doesn't really matter one's level of perception. Just have the dream journal, number one. Number two, like I said, intention plays a big thing, so express intention to want to dream more if you don't dream at all, or to remember any dreams if you don't dream at all. That's the first step that I think I see a lot of people, like, they want to do this, but they don't even have, their dreaming isn't even common to them, so they have to get to the point where they're at least seeing these weird symbols and stuff that have absolutely no idea, why a garden gnome that was glowing green just jumped across their living room in their dream. Just see that. You have to see that first before you can really get out and have control everywhere else. So just really expressing the intention with that. And actually, I do have a statement or that you can work off of actually that and change the way you want that will help the subconscious wake or remember dreams. That's the one I kind of give people. Put things in a present tense, because in that plane, time doesn't matter the same way it does here, so everything is now. So you have to remember that. But before you go to sleep, or even just write it or something like that in your day, this is the statement that I like giving is, I remember my dreams and I feel rested and energized. Just kind of get that going.
It's your personal affirmations, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so
self-talk.
And that way, even you avoid that I'm tired from my lucid experience. You have that built in that, no, this is my mind, and my mind was just being efficient with its time, really. Because you can use lucid dreams to do anything, including study for tests, practice, a skill. If you're consciously aware of it, you can create the own boundaries of that lucid experience to find yourself to what you believe is reality. So no telekinesis if you can't do it. No anything else if you can't do it. And just practice. Things like that. Or you can, stuff like that. It's just very effective tool.
You alluded earlier in the program, you alluded to a fear went on the astral plane, right?